Welcome to the Inspired Action interview series. I am Francis from Go Lilies Media, and our guest today is Darlene Hawley. Let's hear her story. Welcome to the Inspired Action interview series where I highlight the amazing partners that I work with. So today I'm excited to introduce Darlene Hawley. She's a keynote speaker and visibility coach who helps executives and entrepreneurs communicate confidently and speak up for the ideas that matter most. So, Darlene, thank you for being here today. And the first question would be, what inspired you to become a speaker and visibility coach?
Yeah, thank you so much, Francis, for having me. I'm excited to be here just to chit chat with you today. And so, what inspired me to be a keynote speaker and a business coach? Oh my gosh, let's see. I love supporting other people and helping them make a big impact in the world. And when I started my business 19 years ago, I left retail, HR training and development, and bought a franchise to become a business coach and started supporting mostly service-based online entrepreneurs to really find their voice and get their message out into the world so that they can be a part of that impact that they're trying to create. And during that process, there's a million ways that we can be visible, that we can market our businesses. But the one that really lit me up the most was getting in front of audiences and getting up on a stage and having a chance to share my heart, share my story in a way that could highlight the work that I do, but also really love on and give back to the community and to the audience members. A lot of times when we hear somebody else up on stage and we hear their story, it actually inspires us to go out and do some of those bigger things that we want to do. And so part of that impact has been really helping share my story in hopes to give permission to other leaders and women especially to find their voice and get up on stages and to make an impact in the world. I found really quickly, I think in my business, and especially for like, there's a lot of studies out there for women that when women make money, it gives us the power and the confidence, but it also supports our communities in such big ways. Women donate more to nonprofits. We give back to whether it's the Girl Scouts selling cookies on the side of the grocery store. Like we're just able to give with a bigger heart. And so the more women that we can find to get out there, the better it is. And so that's part of why I keynote speak, get on stages, and it's really why I support women and finding their voice so that they can be a part of the change.
What do you love most about the work you do? Is it that giving back to the community?
Yeah, it's definitely part of it. Part of it is giving back to the community. But one of the most coolest things I get to do is when I'm working with my clients is seeing their heart and their passion for whatever it is that they're excited about and really helping them find the message. I call it kind of like the mess in the messaging. Oftentimes, we know what we're good at, we know what we're passionate about, but a lot of entrepreneurs don't always communicate it in a way that really allows their ideal clients to see them for who they are and what they're trying to do. And so I love being able to really partner with them and help them find the pieces of the message that speak to them personally, but also calls in their dream clients. So it allows their dream clients to kind of lean in a little bit and get curious and see that there's the solution to the problem that they're having. There's so many different ways that we can show up and support other people, but when we get really clear on what our message is and we share it in a way that we're able to share stories and connect to the heartstrings of other people, that's when we can really bring people on board to take action.
Speaking of that, why is it important for leaders to speak up for their ideas and why does it matter to them?
Yeah. Great question. We all need to speak up. We all need to use our voice. Like we are gifted with the ability to have a passion and a voice, and not everybody is in a position where they feel safe to speak up. And
Mhm.
so one of my passions is really creating containers and spaces for women and leaders to find their voice. And one of the ways I do that is through I teach a program called Step Into Your Moxie, which is all about speaking up and influence. And I do a lot of this work either with groups of entrepreneurs, but a lot of times I go in and work with organizational leaders with their teams. And we do what I call easy, low stakes conversation starters, using those as building blocks into those bigger, daring, bolder conversations.
Mhm.
And oftentimes we're taught, and I'll speak for myself actually, like I remember being a little girl, and in my home, it wasn't safe to speak up. It
Mm.
wasn't safe to use my voice to share my opinion or my thoughts on a situation. And so as I became an adult, I didn't know that it was safe to speak up. And I got promoted really young. I was in my early 20s when I got promoted into operations management for a large retail organization. And I remember going into my very first meeting. It was all men. I was the only woman in the room. I was in my early 20s. Most of them were probably in their 40s or older.
Mm.
And I remember not feeling like I was able to raise my hand or share my opinion and what that felt like. And I wanted to, like, there was like this piece of me that was like, I want to share here. Like, I've got a great idea. And so I started using my voice a little bit and kind of, as I like to put it, like putting my pinky toe in the water. Like, I would find little ways to start that conversation.
Mhm.
And I had to do the work. It wasn't easy because I wasn't taught to speak up as a child and it didn't feel safe in those environments. I felt like it wasn't safe in that room. So I had to start practicing. And now I get to help leaders who maybe don't feel safe in their environment
Mhm.
learn to find to use their voice. And so I take them through, like, we dig into 5 areas really, which is like the inner critic. What are we thinking? The words that we think often impact how we're speaking. So are we talking nicely to ourselves? Playing
Mhm.
nicely, I like to say, like, are we having positive inner conversation so that we can say what we mean? I also support them with their physiological sensations that show up in our body. Like, do we have those giant butterflies? Does our face get red? Does our voice start to quaver? Do our hands shake violently? Right? We've all had that moment where we go to speak and we're like, our body takes over. And so we work on those pieces and then we work on what's the message that you want to say? How do you say it clearly and succinctly and concise so that you can make an impact? And the fourth piece is presence. Are we unapologetically showing up as ourselves? We don't need to be like everybody else. So often we think we need to do something like another leader that we've seen or another entrepreneur and how they're showing up. And really, we just want to be ourselves and kind of take off the Mardi Gras mask a little bit so people can really see us for who we truly are. And then the fifth piece is when we do speak, are we calling people to take action? Are we giving them the guidance and support so that people can make really strong decisions for themselves and
Mhm.
feel like they're trusted at that moment?
I agree. But for that, a lot of people still underestimate their voice and expertise. So have you ever felt that, and like what helped you move past it?
Yeah, absolutely. I worked with a client a couple, I guess it was probably couple months back now, and she was in a new leadership role with inside of her organization. She had gotten promoted. She
Mhm.
was now leading the people that she was peers with before, and she was really struggling with standing out and really leading the team forward because she had how do we call like she felt like she used to be able to water cooler and hang out
Mhm.
with these people and now she was in a position of like authority and leading them and she was having a really hard time of showing up to work without feeling like she was not being friends with them and able to lead them. And so I took her through a couple different activities where we practiced using her voice. We got her really comfortable inside of her body
Mhm.
with the messages that she wanted to say. One of the things I like to tell my clients is we need to embody the message. And the best way we can embody the message is by walk and talk.
Mm.
Practice what we want to say before we go to have that actual conversation so that we can trust ourselves and our body remembers what we're trying to say. Even if we don't get the words exactly right every single time, our bodies take over and we alleviate some of the pressure that we put on ourselves. And we're able to stand in our power and stand confidently and really authentically show up as ourselves
Mhm.
and be vulnerable in those moments. And so I took her through some of my Speak Up and Influence activity programming in our one-to-one coaching sessions. And she came back to me afterwards and she's like, I felt empowered in the moment when I led my team. And I
Mhm.
really felt like they actually listened to me and trusted the guidance I was trying to give to them in that moment. And that was something that she wasn't feeling before that. She was feeling awkward and insecure and unconfident. And now she feels confident when she goes in to have those team meetings and she's leading the team because she just started to trust herself. We need to trust ourselves.
Mhm.
We forget that we know all the answers. We know what we're supposed to do. We know what we're supposed to say, but we let the fear and the negative self-talk get in the way. And so when we can take back control of our body and really show up authentically, it can be the difference that we're looking for in those moments.
Awesome. So what does inspired action mean to you?
Inspired action. When I first bought my business coaching franchise, there was a quote that said, "Clarity comes from taking action."
Mhm.
One of the first quotes that I learned that came through that season of life with me. And I think inspired action is being clear, being strategic, having a plan, and knowing it's okay to do the work. We don't have to have all the answers immediately, but we want to be able to get to a place where we can really trust our intuition, trust our gut, and do the work, take the steps. I'm a lifetime learner myself. I love to learn new things. It's very rare that you will see me not listening to a podcast or reading a new self-development book, sometimes a fun novelty book. But I like to do the work. I like to teach what I've had to learn because I feel like I'm able to be a few steps ahead of my clients, but I know the journey. And even though everybody's journey is separate and looks a little bit different, I'm in this path and on this journey with them. And there's still moments when I look at our current world environment and what's happening in our country, like finding the safety, finding the security, finding the right words. Like it doesn't always come easy, but I'm not willing to give up. I'm willing to continue to do the work because I know when I speak up and use my voice, I'm giving my permission to other women like you, Frances, and other women around the world to speak up and use their voice too. And that's why, like, we have to take action. We have to be inspired. We have to be motivated. We have to keep going. We can't, like, what's the movie Finding Nemo? Like, Dory, just keep swimming. Like, that always pops up in my head. Like, just keep moving, keep swimming, taking the steps, even when it's hard and we feel like we're swimming upstream. Like, just keep going. Like, we can't stop because our voice needs to be heard. We all have a different story, a different impact we're here to make. And if I stop, then I know I'm not going to be satisfied in my life. And I also would not have the ability to inspire others to keep going too.
That's very true. So for the last question, if someone wants to work with you, what is the best first step?
Yeah, first step is let's hop on a call and get to know each other. I love to do coffee chat / strategy calls where I get a chance to meet other people, see what's going on for them and their business. Some of the work I'm doing is helping entrepreneurs grow their businesses and get that really strong messaging on their website, getting in a position where they know which visibility strategies are really going to work for them personally in this season of life. And then I also love to work with organizational leaders like HR, talent development, sales leaders to help bring their team together and increase the culture in their organization so that their team feels safe to speak up, whether it's the internal conversations they're having or the external. So you can find me on LinkedIn at Darlene Hawley, and I'd love to connect and hop on a call and just see how we can support each other.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Darlene, for all your insights and the passion behind your work. So for everyone watching, her info will be added in the YouTube channel as well as the social media post if you would like to connect with Darlene. And so thank you for joining us for the Inspired Action interview series, and I'll see you in the next interview. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.